Hello and welcome to my channel. Say hi to a happy day. In this channel, I would like to share tales and stories I personally picked and or my kids' favorite book stories. Let's enjoy listening while I read to you a story, Arlo's Birthday Adventure. Arlo was so excited. The next day was the triplets' 7th birthday, and every year, Mama and Papa planned a special day away from the farm. "Well, Mama," Papa said when he came back in from the field, "would you look at these young'uns? Why, they look like they've just about old enough for an adventure." Buck and Libby were excited. Arlo gulped. An adventure? That sounded scary. Surely his parents wouldn't plan anything too scary, would they? Mama smiled. "We're going for a picnic by my favorite waterfall. It's where Mama and I met, you know. Seeing the waterfall is only part of the fun," Papa said. "First, we have to go get there. And boy, I'm climbing to a waterfall that can be quite an adventure." The next morning, they set off bright and early. Buck and Libby groaned. They hated getting up before sunrise. But Arlo had barely slept. All night, he'd been worrying about the hike. What if we get lost? What if we stepped onto something that got hurt? There was a lot that could go wrong on a hike. Arlo looked over at Mama and started to smile. She was carrying a basket of his favorite berries. Maybe the hike wouldn't be so bad after all. It wasn't long before Arlo's belly started to grumble. "Mama, I'm hungry," he said. "Can I have some berries?" But Mama just shook her head. "The berries are for your birthday picnic, Arlo. Come along. There will be plenty to eat when we get to the waterfall." Arlo sighed and kept walking. It was his birthday. Why should he have to wait? Suddenly, Arlo stopped in his tracks. He'd been so busy thinking about eating that he hadn't noticed when everything around him got darker. Without realizing it, he'd followed Mama right into a dark forest. Up ahead, Mama, Papa, Buck, and Libby happily continued on their way. They hadn't even noticed that Arlo wasn't with them anymore. Arlo's eye darted back and forth as he followed the path. Strange shadows lurked in the trees, and sharp branches poked him as he ran. "Mama!" he shouted. "Wait up!" Mama turned around and slowed down, letting Arlo catch up to her. Arlo ran up as fast as his legs could take him. He didn't want to be caught out in the woods without his family. By the time Arlo caught up with the rest of his family, they were climbing a very muddy hill. Arlo looked ahead at his siblings, already in the mud, and thought he'd had enough adventuring for the day. "Mama," he called, "can I have some berries now?" But Mama shook her head again. "Not until we get to the waterfall," she said. "Come on, Arlo, we're almost there, but be careful, the mud is slippery." Arlo started to climb. He hadn't taken more than 3 steps when something slid past him. It was Buck. Yahoo! Buck shouted, sliding through the mud on his back. This is awesome! At the top of the hill, Arlo could see Libby running around the trees and jumping out at Mama and Papa. Slowly but steadily, Arlo continued up the muddy hill. Come on, Slowpoke, Buck called, running past him. Last one to the waterfall doesn't get any berries. Arlo put his head down and continued climbing. I can do this. At least I think I maybe can. He climbed a bit farther and stumbled on a rock along the way. It's my birthday. I can do anything today, and I'm not going to let Buck eat my birthday berries. Finally, Arlo reached the top of the hill. He found his family staring at a giant fallen tree. What's wrong? He asked. Mama pointed at the tree. This is the path we usually take to the waterfall, but it's blocked. We'll have to go another way. Papa looked around. It looks like our only choice is across these fallen rocks. That cave, there might be a dead end, he said. What do you think, Mama? Mama nodded. I think they're all big enough now to handle a new fallen rocks. And besides, look at the waterfall right on the other side of them. That's the one. Papa set off across the rocks with Libby and Buck close behind him. Arlo went next. He slowly stepped over one rock, then another. He was going to reach that waterfall if it was the last thing he did. But as Mama started up the path, she tripped. The basket of berries went flying and the berries rolled into the nearby cave. No, Arlo shouted. He'd gone all that way and he was not going to miss eating his birthday berries. He turned around and ran straight into the dark cave. What happened to Arlo? Libby asked. He just turned around and ran into that cave, Mama explained. Buck looked at the dark cave. Arlo went in there? No way! Arlo emerged from the cave. In his mouth was the basket, and it was full of berries. He gently set it down. Hey, guess what? Arlo called out. The cave isn't a dead end, and it leads right to the waterfall. I can't believe you went in there alone, Buck said. Weren't you scared? Libby added. Arlo gestured to the basket. Well, Mama picked up these berries and carried them all this way. Now come on, we've got a waterfall to see. Arlo picked up the basket again and turned around to walk back through the tunnel. His family followed. Papa smiled at Mama. It looks like our boy is growing up. That he is, Mama said, taking the berries from Arlo and setting them beside the waterfall. Now I think it's time for that birthday picnic. And the first berries go to Arlo for saving the day. Oh, Arlo said as he happily munched on his berries and looked at the waterfall. I guess some things are worth waiting for after all. The end. I hope you enjoy listening to the story, Arlo's Birthday Adventure. Please don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to listen to more of our favorite book stories. See you soon!